It started 23. My partner and I were given a couple acres from my mom in the Northwest US. And so we started building and just teaching ourselves from books. And we built a house, and then we built an art studio. And then my mom moved to Guanajuato, and we were driving around with her one day, and look at this beautiful cactus. Someone has to save this cactus. So we bought the lot because of the cactus. That was a
Wow.
Goya, and it's like 26 feet across, and it just keeps on getting taller. And we built our the Golden Bee, which is an Airbnb rental, and it has 3 floors. Each floor is a different rental, and it's based on the bee because I dance with honeybees, which is a whole nother thing. So at the same time that my partner and I were building, my mom was building her place, which is where we hold retreats, and it's just a mile
Okay.
away. So, yeah. So it's like once we started to learn how to build, it's kind of like when you get a tattoo and you're like, oh, now I'm going to get another tattoo because I understand how tattoos work.
Yeah.
Now I know how to build a structure. What can I do with it? So that's how we
And your
started.
place is in Oregon?
Yeah, we have a place in Oregon and a place in Guanajuato, and then my mom's house is in Guanajuato where we do the retreats. So she has a
Oh,
large
okay.
home and 5 apartments, so we can hold up to 10 people and 2 leaders, so total of 12 people. And we do retreats. So we host retreats for people that are coming, or we have writers retreats, small intimate retreats, and I'm really excited about one coming up in September 2025, which is Empower Her. And it's 2 women coming from the US to bring women entrepreneurs and women who are like shifting their businesses to just focus and work with each other. And then sometime in 2025, 26, I'm going to do a women's in the metaverse retreat and just bring women who have never met each other together and who have been doing these projects that are pretty extensive in the metaverse. We're going to come together as a group. And so that's another one coming up. So it's pretty exciting.
That's crazy. I want
Yeah.
to ask more about your mom's place.
Yes.
But first, I need to know more about the metaverse because I know nothing about it. And how do you do a
Well,
retreat in there? Like, do you need to create an
oh,
avatar?
okay, so two things. Right now, I'm working on the board. This year in November will be our third annual Women's World Retreat in the Metaverse. So we have a group of women who are putting on different retreats in the metaverse where you can come and learn from them or study with them. We have people
Wow.
from financial advisors to couples therapy to artists. I'm going to lead a collaborative 3D painting in an app called Multiverse, where I can have 6 people join in one space and we'll paint together. And when you're painting with brushes that make sound. Maybe they're a brush of fire, and we'll have a collaborative like concept. Let's build a let's build a city together, or let's build a human form or a sculpture. Let's see. So that's one thing that's happening as far as retreats in the metaverse. Uh, and then there's the metaverse is like your iPhone. And when you open your iPhone, you have all these different apps, right? And you click on the app and it opens opportunity. And that's what the
Mhm.
metaverse is like. You go in as an avatar and you have a homeroom with all these apps, and you click on the app and then you appear in a different avatar. Each app has different avatars. So I started the artist community in one app, and we have buildings with stores where you can go and you can actually click, and a browser shows up, and you can buy stuff, and you can go to galleries, and you can meet people all over the world because it's open 24/7, right?
Wow.
And then I have a women in workrooms meetup every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Pacific time, and people come from all over the world women, and we talk about tech, and we talk about what we're learning, and we learn, and we bring in new tools. Like, here's a new AI tool. Here's what I'm building in the metaverse. Here, I just built a new world, and we have tours. So it's endless. And for someone like me who lives in the country, but has always loved sci-fi and lives in sci-fi and needs social people, it's great because I can stay home and be in my little country universe, and then I can go out and put on my headset and travel around and meet people.
Wow.
So it's
That
super
sounds,
fun. I
yeah, I was
love
going
it.
to ask you, do you need a headset
Yeah.
to like really
Yes.
be there?
It's an
Oh, that's
Oculus
so
headset,
cool.
but in my Women of Work rooms, I can send you a link and you can join me as a Zoom call, kind of. Just you just join from your computer and you show up, and then you see
Yeah.
all these people as avatars sitting around the table and have a discussion. So if you want to join me,
Wow.
I will send you a link and we can.
Yeah,
Yeah, you'll love it.
I think I
It's
need to
so
do that.
strange. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, you are so cool. We've just scratched the surface of,
I know.
wow.
I'll
I
connect
have
with
to
you
imagine
in
like,
January. So
oh, okay.
you.
So we need to meet up then. I
Okay, that'd
would
be
love to
fun.
meet you in person.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just thinking about when it like a retreat in the metaverse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason I really love retreats is that human connection and
Right.
just I think touch, and feeling, just feeling the
Yes.
frequencies, feeling the energy. And I've heard people have retreats on Zoom and say there's some positive things about it,
Mm-hmm.
and then the obvious not so not that it's not positive, but the lack of touch and the feeling and stuff. But I'm wondering if in the metaverse it's kind of like an in between, right? Because
It really
especially
is.
if you're in it, it feels like you're there even though you're
Yes.
not.
Yes. You can feel people's body and sensations through their voice. Like it's you have no idea how much your voice inflects when you're until you get into the metaverse, and when someone's like, oh, I'm sorry, are you gonna cry? Oh, do you need a hug? People are like, let me give you a hug, or I'm so excited. You can feel it. And energy, if like I've been an energy healer for 34 years, that's another whole part of my life. And so it's very easy for me to you feel the empathy, or you feel everything is very apparent, and I have made such great friends that I talk to more chatting than some of my friends that are dear to me, and I have gone up to Seattle to meet with these women, and so I've met some people in real life, and it's so fun because them when they're like driving by parking and like, oh, there she is, I see her now, and like we all, like three of us, got together and we had like a 4 hour lunch, and it was so fabulous to like talk about the projects we've been working on together in the metaverse, but in real life to talk about them and to push them further. It was great. So you really do make amazing connections. And I've made so many friends in the Netherlands. I could go to Switzerland right now and just be like, hey, where are you? And yeah, so you're making world connections. It's it's kind of like a great way for people to travel without having to get on the plane. I think it can be
And
a way for us to heal some of our like cultural stigmas or stuff that needs to be like completely erased.
yeah,
Yeah.
I wonder
I
if
have a
also
one
it could help with
group of yeah, I have a one group of well, a woman who joins me every week from Nairobi. She works with girls and she introduces them to tech. And she goes all over different villages and she bring her headsets, and the girls have come to our meetings, and they're like, my life is completely different. I have so many opportunities, now that I get to be here, and they call it like the VR Africa campus, and they talk every week. these girls come and say what they're learning, what their projects are. They sell their handmade baskets together. It's really fabulous. It's so neat to watch what they're doing and their inspiration. So that's the metaverse.
This is
Just
the positive.
yeah, it's the positive side.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, it's a game. I'm like, I've never played a video game. Really, it's, I'm not
Oh,
a gamer. I bought it so I could paint, 3D paint. And then I stumbled upon something and I was like, oh, and really the metaverse is like in the dial-up stage of the internet. It's
mm,
just barely starting, in a way. It's been going on for years, but that's been like mostly games and other things that are kind of muddled. You can see like every day how it's growing and people are learning how to use it, uh and there's people on all ages. You have like 8-year-olds to 76, 86-year-olds in there. And the
wow.
other day, this man who's an architect, and he said to me, he's like 86, he said, this is a place I don't feel or experience racism or ageism. And he said, I come in here and I feel so good. And I don't, he's getting Parkinson's right now. He says, I don't need my medication when I'm in here. I'm like, I
Mm,
get the dopamine that I need. And then I realize, oh, I don't even
yeah.
need medication when I'm in here. It's fascinating. It's great. Yeah.
That's really interesting that you say that because I was thinking it must create this freedom or
Mm-hmm.
like in the real world, sometimes it can be scary. You may have social anxiety, you may worry about criticism or judgment or
Right.
whatever. But when you're in the metaverse and when you're in this place where you can construct how you
Yeah.
feel confident, it's outside of yourself, but you can still show up as yourself. It's almost like a way for you to be fully, most authentically yourself
It's true.
through
It's true.
this other vessel, no?
Yeah. Also, a woman shared that she's a double amputee from diabetes, and she said, I just realized after when that happened, like I lost my friends, and then somebody gave her a headset or she bought the headset, and she's like, this gave me my life back. I can,
Wow.
have an avatar that walks around. She restarted her whole business. She's like, this is where I get to have friends. I get to go out. I don't feel stuck at home. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. So, yeah. And, I have a lot of friends who are like, well, that's what's happening. And like, they don't understand it, and I'm like, oh, I really like
Hmm.
to start doing more in person, like going to women events and getting women educated in the metaverse and having them join me and bringing their businesses and so it does feel still weighted as a male sort of dominant space, and but I'm meeting very
Yeah,
powerful women, and I want to see more. Yeah.
that sounds like a great mission. So what's the difference between the retreats that happen in the metaverse and the retreats that happen at your mom's house? Like what's the
Right.
biggest difference you notice?
I guess it would just be that people are together. But I think that it's similar because they have mostly been women retreats, artists doing projects, or writers, or therapists. And I think naturally, because it's sort of mother daughter owned and pushed, it's been women that has come to do the retreats at our place more than anything. And I want to just kind of grow that. What my dream
Yeah.
for that space is that people would come regularly. Like they're like, I do the September women empowered retreats, and then I, like, not me, but one, or that it was just sort of a place that women came and felt safe and did personal work or personal growth, and sort of that's my dream for it. And I think it's slowly happening. Yeah.
Yeah. Is the space geared toward women and like women in business, creative women? Because the space is very artsy and
Yeah, it
eclectic.
is. Well, my mom used to do large scale public art. So that was her job in life for many years. In Portland, she was pretty well known as doing large scale fused glass. So she worked with lots of glass and bronze and you know, things for like airports and police stations, you know, big pieces of art. And so this is kind
Yeah.
of this building this structure was like for her to build an art piece. Like it feels like you're kind of stepping into an art space. So
It
it's really
does.
beautiful, and it's I love it because it's a sanctuary kind of space. You go in and you're like, okay, here there's lots of room to breathe, but there's good color, and it's like a little museum treasure to me.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I think
very
it
cool. And I love how each of the space has its own, like it's cohesive, but has its own personality.
it does, and then it has like everyone has their own little private spot. So each unit has a small little kitchen, a bathroom, and then two twin beds. So most of the retreats are that people share an apartment. Of course, I guess they could have their own apartment and pay for like the whole apartment instead of sharing the payment. Um, and there's a nice little courtyard, and then the whole roof of the main house is open to seating and a really beautiful view. And then the house itself is open for retreats. For there's a kitchen and a large dining area and an outdoor patio with another large table and lots of little sitting areas. So it's really geared toward like, okay, we can split up in groups and have a little private group time, or you can work together. And then it's really close to the central. You just can walk downhill, which is quite steep. Everything
Mhm.
in Guanajuato is like it's like in a bowl. So you walk down and then grab a little bus up or a taxi or an Uber, and it's like such a magical town. Have you been there?
I haven't.
Oh,
And I'm about to ask a truly ignorant question because I can't picture it on the map. Where is it?
oh,
In
it's
Mexico?
very it's so it's really the center, which is amazing. It is almost exactly the center, and it's close to it's
Okay.
like 40 minutes from Leon and about an hour and 10 minutes from San Miguel.
Ah, okay. An
Hmm.
hour and 10 minutes south from San Miguel?
I never remember which direction
Yeah.
actually.
All right. Well, cool. That's fine. At least you gave me the vicinity. Now I'm like, okay, it's over there.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, yeah. So like 5 hours from Mexico City, 5.5, depending on how
Okay.
fast the bus is driving.
Okay.
I guess
Yeah.
usually take the bus. Beep.
So yeah, exactly. Let's switch gears a little bit because
Okay.
the what made me reach out to you. I mean, other than the fact that your website is so futuristic and techy, and in the wellness space and the retreat space specifically, I was like, oh, this is so different, and
I know.
like creating NFTs and stuff like that. But then I
Yes.
saw you dancing with the bees,
Yes.
and I was like, what is
Is
this
going on.
magic? Yes.
I started dancing with
How
bees
did
in
that start?
2021. So it's been a while.
Hmm.
How did I start? Is that what you said? Or what was the question?
Mm-hmm.
I started, okay, so I had a vision. I'm an artist, so I had a vision of myself covered in bees standing in this perfect, pristine cul-de-sac. Do you know what that is? It's like all these houses in a circle at the end of a block. And so it took me months to find somebody who could help me do that. And I found a professor of entomology, and he worked with me. And that ended up being a photo shoot, which ended up being a 6,000 piece jigsaw puzzle, which I was covered in bees. And then it was photoshopped in with lots of actual 3D stuff on the space that was then photographed and scanned. It was like before there was really good digital cameras and stuff. So that was my first dance, which was really for an art piece. And then I was asked to dance for a movie, Queen of the Sun, which is about biodynamic beekeeping all over the world. So I opened the movie with dancing with the bees, and then from then on, I did one more where I asked other performance artists to just give me a line of what they would want to do with the bee queen. That's that part of myself. And so then we did all these little vignettes one day, and then I made a video from that and did a voiceover poem music piece to it. And then from then on, I just realized, this is really like my energy work. If dancing with the bees feels the same as when I'm working on someone's body, and we're pulling energy and we're rerouting energy, and we're lengthening the energetic body, or we're preparing somebody for surgery, it's the same exact feeling. So I decided to just start doing more energetic healing circles. So I call them the healing ring. And so we do a bee dance healing ring pollination feast. And I have people bring food that bees are pollinated by, and then we eat together, and then I have everyone sit in a big ring and I dance for them. I dance for each person. And we have live music, and we've done 4 of those, I think. Before COVID, I was like, oh, we're just gonna do one of these a year, and then COVID came, and we were planning one in Italy, which fell apart because of COVID, and I just took a few years off. And I noticed that I did one last year. It kind of it seems to be every couple year thing for me, instead of I don't really do good with super consistent stuff. This has to happen every year. That doesn't feel good. So yeah, now it's doing one every other year. I have an opportunity to do one in Australia. So I'm working with a DJ event planner, and then I have a person with the land and the bees, and so that might be the next one next year. So we have about 100 people show up, and everyone dresses in white, and it's pretty beautiful. It's pretty much a all day deal. So I would love.
Have you ever thought about doing a?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, have you ever thought about doing a bee retreat, where you teach people how to be with the bees?
I thought about, lots of different ideas. I thought about doing something over Zoom. So, it's a lot of prep to do a bee dance. So I think maybe it would just be about just not particularly bee dancing, but just do something together about being. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we could talk about that for sure. Yeah. I think that seems
or bee dancing in the metaverse.
I have lots of people come up to me and say, when we can make our own avatars, we'll make sure we have bees all over yours. And I said, okay, thank you. I know is now possible. I have met the person who knows the person who could make me one. So maybe someday I'll have my special costume of wearing bees, and wherever I go, there will be bees following me. I would love that so much. That would be amazing.
And why bees?
I don't know. It came from a very specific vision of what I saw, and then I just followed that. It wasn't like I was a little kid and bees were always following me. It was more about following the voice. Like I get these loud voices, do this, and then I do that, you know, and then that takes me to where I'm supposed to be. And I know that that's my job. At one bee dance, when the bees are all landing, and it takes them about 40 minutes, an hour to land. And I was just prepping. I was walking towards the hive. I'm like, and I said, "Oh, I feel like I'm getting married. Wow, this is my job. My job is to inspire people, to educate people,
Wow.
to make people feel safe, to make people like quell the fear of bees. You know, when people come up to me like, "Oh, you're the bee lady," I'm like, "Yeah." I got stung when I was 6 years old, or my grandfather was a beekeeper. But mostly people tell me their fearful stories about being stung and how they're scared of bees. And I said, "Oh, you need to come to my bee dance
Mm-hmm.
if you're scared of bees." Um, yeah, so I'd love to get people to realize that they don't have to be scared, and I love to watch their faces when they come close to them, and they're all like, and then they relax, and then they
Yeah.
smile, and then they go, "Oh my gosh, oh wow." My partner Theodore said that I look like an alien when I get up close to people because my whole body's moving, but I'm standing still.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's about
I actually,
12,000 to 14,000 bees.
that's a lot.
It is a lot,
That's a lot.
and they're hot.
I've been stung by a bee,
Yes.
in my
How was
armpit,
it?
actually, of all
Oh, that's the
places.
worst spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I,
always
I,
think it's
I,
just
I don't
medicine.
remember how old I was.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um,
But you
but I
don't forget it.
have, no, no. And my dad caked mud on it to draw it out.
Yeah, that
So
works.
that was fun.
Hmm.
And but I've always kind of been like the same thing happens when I would see one. It was like, you know. So
Right.
it's really a beautiful testament of transforming fear, not just of bees, but just fear of anything, and being able to, you know, calm your breath and just relax and witness something in front of you, letting it come close, and
Yes, yes.
having a different experience to surround it.
It is amazing. It is amazing. It's also, you know, lots of people think this must be the most, um, it is the most beautiful thing, and it is not comfortable. You know, I mean, you know, they're all pinching to stay on. You're being kind of like bit all over the place. And I'm used to that, you know, but the first time I was like, is this supposed to feel this way? Because I didn't really know the difference between being stung, because I don't really know if I had been stung before. I don't remember as a kid if that was, I don't remember being stung. So um, I wasn't sure if I was being stung or being bit, or having little things holding on, because sort of like one will hold on and then a chain will kind of hang off them, and they kind of like start hanging off each other. And so,
Oh,
um, yeah, it's a little itchy, you know, it's beautiful and it's amazing, but it's also not comfortable. And I'm okay with that because that's sort of the transcending point. Um, and they're very hot.
is this something that you would do? Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean they're hot?
Oh, it's just they just like they generate a lot of heat. So they're really warm. I mean, I
Wow.
love that because I'm kind of naturally a cold person, so I'm kind of like, yay, I'm warm with my little friends. Um, I The most interesting thing was the last dance I danced with. For some reason, those bees, I don't even I didn't even feel like they were attached to me. That was incredible. It's the first time I've ever not felt like I was being that someone was biting to hold on. So that was really interesting. I was like, this is my favorite hive. Um, yeah, and that
And you've
was,
never done
uh,
this at a retreat before?
you know what? I was asked to do it at a place, and then it didn't feel good. There was like too many. It was like a retreat festival where there were lots of people doing lots of different things, and the energy was so
Mm-hmm.
scattered. It's like, I can't do this here. This is
Mm.
like, it has to be like everyone's here for this. It's like such, like, you need, it needs to be a safe enclosed vessel space. It's very, it's more of a ceremony. It has more of a ceremony aspect.
Mm.
And I really ask that people come up with something specific they want to work on, or they can even write me like, hey, I want to work on my hip pain or my grief or my, there's like, it's, I want them to come with something so that we're, I'd really like to maybe bring people in to the circle and work on, like really deep energetic work. So maybe we could do it that way. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be
That
amazing.
sounds, I mean, ceremony belongs in retreat, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I've always been, I haven't really gone to very many retreats. I seem to be the person helping other people, uh, pointing them like, here's a place for you to do retreat. Usually I'm usually here, and my mom is like being the host at her space because she needs that space for people to stay. So I'm usually
Mm-hmm.
here or somewhere else, and I'm kind of the gatherer of here's the space, and how can they help you. Here's the person you talk to about tours, and here's the person you talk to about, do you want to take some classes like printmaking or different artists and studios in Guanajuato, or is there like
Mm.
a chef, or so I think it's because I spent most of my life hands on building my space and working, that I don't really I haven't been a participant in very many retreats. I think I'd like to do that. um, I just find myself so
Maybe
busy.
someone will see you here and invite you and say, I need
Yeah,
that bee medicine. Come and
right.
bring
I
it.
would love to be invited. I would love to be invited, and I wouldn't have to do any of the promo work. Just show up and do the work, and really be just completely embedded in my bee medicine, my bee offering, instead of also being the person
Yeah.
who's making sure everyone is at the table getting their whatever tickets, or the ordering the tables, or being the person who does all of it. Normally that's my job. I do it and I promote it, and then I'm kind of just realizing that really I need to not to do that part. I need to just be the one giving all the energy with the bees to the people. So that is definitely
Can
something I would
you,
love.
yeah. Can you share like a transformational moment that you've witnessed from someone witnessing you in the bee
Oh,
dance?
there are a lot. Um, I remember specifically this one person who was telling me beforehand that she was just going through tons and tons of transitions, and she didn't know what she was doing, la 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 la. And when I was dancing in front of her, um, she was right where she had chosen to sit. I don't think she was aware that behind her was these these tooth pathways in the field, and they were like crossroads. And so the dance between us was all about these crossroads. And then later on, I told her, you're like sitting in the crossroad. You just have to choose one and then go. And she was like, okay. It was like, here's the message is right. You're sitting right in it. And then another person, um, I didn't, I wasn't aware of what I looked like in this dance, but I had put a little my hair was really short, and I put a little beeswax in my hair to keep it down for the dance. And I didn't realize, because I get so out of my body, because I almost feel like I'm levitating, that the bees had like made this hood over my head. And the whole dance, every time I would get to someone, it was just like swords were coming out, and it was like, okay, we're chopping, or like grabbing swords, and people were like, felt like, oh, you're just slicing things. And then afterwards I realized I was wearing like armor. I was like, oh, no wonder it was all about like slicing and pulling and moving stuff with a really like, as though I had a sword the whole time. Um,
Wow, that's cool.
so I have a lot
Very
of people's
interesting.
stories. They're not like popping in my head at the moment. But yes, it's great. I love it so much. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
love just watching
I hope you get to do it.
people's. I love watching people. I love watching people's fear melt away.
Yeah.
I had this one
That's a
person
big
write
one.
me. Yeah, it's huge. I had this one person write me after a dance, and she said, "I never like considered the bees when I mowed my lawn." So the other day, I went out to mow my lawn, and I went out and I said, "In 20 minutes, everyone, I'm mowing the lawn, so you should go somewhere else." And she's like, I talked to all the bees. I told them to leave. And then I went inside and I waited. And then I got out there and I mowed the lawn. And just that made me think I just did my job. If someone is going to go outside and let everyone know that what is happening, and they're aware, and they're trying to make a difference. So yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
I think bringing awareness to insects in general. I've seen my own journey with it. I
Uh-huh.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
I started with, I don't know, like, okay, I'm comfortable with lizards. Now I'm
Mm-hmm.
comfortable picking up scorpions, not with my hands, but like with a
Yeah.
cup and a paper, and I carefully take them
Right.
outside. And then I got around to like, oh no, a bee fell in the pool. Let me take a leaf and scoop it out, and so he can fly away. There's still certain bugs that I just, but I do feel this growing awareness and just mindfulness and consciousness around insects, which
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of not just fear, but I guess fear in the sense of like, oh, that's gross or ugly, or,
Right. Right.
like a,
It's probably because it was important in our kind of evolution to be aware and be careful, you know.
perhaps.
But now we've kind of
I
overdone it.
killed a roach the other day and I felt really bad about it. And before
Yeah,
I never used to feel bad, but this was the
yeah,
first time because when I went to go smash it, I saw her fear. I saw her
yeah,
fear and she ran away. And I
yeah,
was like, oh,
yeah. I
that was
understand.
tough to watch that, see it,
Hmm.
and know that, in another being.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I've killed only a couple of scorpions because I'm like, I'm not very good at this. I'm afraid of someone else getting hurt, but that's about it. Um,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, we can go back to the house or the spaces in Guanajuato.
Hmm.
Um, what do you find is the most difficult thing about bringing people to that space?
The most difficult thing. Um, well, most people just haven't been there, so they don't know what's so amazing about it. I think that's what happens is they get there and they go, "Oh, this is amazing." It's such a welcoming town, and it's a university town, so it's just bustling with youth. And I think the population is 70% of people there are under 30 years old, something crazy like that. It's just like this really young,
Wow.
vibrant space, and there's always lots of art and contemporary things and folkloric and always new little restaurants. So there's so much that's available, and I think that people just don't know about it until they get there. So trying to sort of, I feel like you have to convince people, like, actually, it's so amazing. To me, it's kind of like it feels like a little Italian village. I don't know why it has this little, yeah, I was kind of like, oh, this always reminds me of Italy. You know, you kind of have to get over, people have, Americans are brainwashed that Mexico is unsafe. So always have to, like, there's a lot of, it's really not. I feel safer in Mexico than I do in Portland, which used to feel like a safe place. Now I am like, ooh, why would I want to go outside at night or in Mexico? Like, everyone's out and everyone's out, in the central. So it's kind of interesting.
I hear you a lot on the safety issue.
It's sad. It makes me sad. Yeah.
But this is why we're here talking about it, offering a different perspective so that, people can see that it's actually a beautiful place to visit where you can have so very beautiful, rich experiences.
And delicious food.
And yes, delicious food.
You know what I love is,
so what do you do to market?
Oh, I don't know. That's my downfall. Slowly, like, just letting people know. I mean, the metaverse has been helpful because I can tell people there. I feel like, social media marketing, I think I'm a little burnt out. I can tell that I'm a little burnt out. So tomorrow I'm doing a Zoom call, which I'm trying something new. So I'm doing a Zoom call at 9 o'clock Pacific time. And it's about retreat spaces. Like, would you like to have a retreat in Mexico? How can I help you? Are you interested in buying a place in Mexico? I'm selling my golden bee so I can put more energy into my mom's space. And which is an opportunity if somebody is looking for their own Airbnb. It has three different levels, and it has a huge piece of land that someone could build their own dream place. If maybe this is something that you want to look at. I think you want to be in the woods. This is really in the city or in the forest. So this is really in the city. It has an amazing view, and I'm be talking about that tomorrow on my Zoom call. And digital nomads, as people who maybe are looking for long-term renting. I find that we love renting to digital nomads because they really are there to, like, do their thing. And we've seen everyone they've met has been so amazing because they're just traveling and working, and there's this different perspective than just being a tourist. I think that's fascinating. So that's happening tomorrow. So I think that's my new way of sort of,
I hope you get a lot of people.
I hope so. I've never done it before. I don't know. I just had, why am I just not, let's just try that. So I'm going to try that. See what happens.
Try it all. And the digital nomad thing, where, like the co-stay, co-living, co-work kind of thing. I've spoken to a few people that have venues that are not just, they host their own retreats, they invite other people to host their retreats there, and then they're also using their space as like a long-term, come stay here and live the retreat as you work and travel.
Yes. Yes. What did you call it? Is there a certain website for
co-living?
That, or just co-living? Yeah.
I've just seen
it. Like
I've seen it around.
A Facebook page?
There are groups. There are a lot of groups.
Okay.
Co-living workspaces.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good because my mom, we have retreats and then we have lulls where like there's 3 months nobody has set up anything where her space is lovely for that. And I have two apartments that are open right now for long term, short term digital nomads until I sell my place. So, I'd love to have people staying there and enjoying the most beautiful cactus. It just needs
And
to be
how's the
enjoyed because
Wi-Fi?
it's so amazing. Huh? How's the Wi-Fi? It's great. It's better than what I have in the States. Yeah,
That's
um,
crazy.
I know. In fact, I had dial-up in the States, and people would send me stuff, and I'd say, I will open that email when I get to Mexico, where the internet's better.
It
So,
is better, actually. The last time we were in SF, which is like one of the tech capitals in the world,
exactly,
the
exactly.
internet was so slow. And here it's like pew, 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 pew. So fast.
Yes. I actually have two modems, and when one modem in the States, when one modem gets low, I just switch it to the other one, and it must tease it or something because then it works better. So I'm just like, oh, getting slow. I just have these two old modems, and
Wow.
they keep saying sometime you'll have Fios or fiber optics out there. I'm in the gorge, so I'm like a half hour from Portland, and like just waiting for better internet. Yes. So the internet seems to be
All
better in
right.
Mexico.
Yeah, I can vouch for that.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you want to say around retreats?
Um,
Advice you want to give?
well, is there going to be a way for people to contact me here? Like if they want to,
Yeah,
if they're interested? Okay, great. I would love
of
people to
course.
send me a note like, hey, I'm interested in doing a retreat in Mexico or joining my Zoom call. I'm going to have another Zoom call on November 9th. So I'm going to do it twice. And I might do a
Mm-hmm.
couple more because I think people need a different day besides Saturdays. I had a couple people say neither of those times work for me. So um, maybe I can put a Facebook link on how to find me on Facebook. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is this Zoom call going to be in your Tinks playground?
Um, I think it will be dancer or something like that. It will be
Okay.
under, yeah. That's my
And what is
afternoon
Tink?
project.
How
Oh, how
are
did
you?
word
Is it
Tink
like
come from?
Tinkerbell? Yeah.
Um, Somebody gave me that name at a Sundance like 20 years
Mm.
ago, and it stuck. And then everybody at Sundance called me Tink. And then so half my friends call me Tink, the other half of my friends call me Sara. My metaverse people call me Tinks because it says my metaverse name is TinksPlayground. So I am now I'm Tinks somewhere. I'm like, oh, okay. So now I guess I have three
That's
names.
cool.
Tinks Playground,
Sarah Tinks
Playground
Tink.
came from, yeah, I love Sara or Tink. I go by both. Tinks Playground came from the fact that when I bought the Oculus headset, I was like, this is my new playground. So that's why it's, and I didn't want to change it
That's
because
cool.
I like it. I grew to that just seemed perfect because you have all
I like
sorts
the
of
name. It's a
things on
cute
the
name.
playground. So it's like all my
Mm-hmm.
different little play areas are all there. Yeah.
I can't wait to check it out. I'm
Yeah.
gonna crash one
I'm
of
going to send you
your
the link.
coffee co-working. Yeah, I don't have a headset though.
Oh, you don't need one for
So
my meetup group, which is for women,
okay,
and it's every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. So I'll send you a link if
okay,
anyone here wants to join. You would just show up like we would be talking here, but you'll see all these avatars on this big round table. That'd be really
very
amazing.
cool.
Yes.
Okay, so the last thing I want to know, do you have a question? This is a new thing I've been asking. If there was
Oh,
like such a thing as the retreat gods or like the retreat expert, what question would you have for them?
how do I get people to know that we exist? That's my question in general.
Okay,
I think the answer
we're gonna
really
send that
is,
out.
yeah, woo! The answer really is you just have to keep on pushing it. But that I don't like to push things on people. I'm like this, like natural. Like when you reached out to me, I was like, this is so exciting. She reached out to me. I loved it so much. Um,
Yay!
this feels great. And all morning I was like, I'm doing this. You know, I I really love talking to people like this. You know, I like meeting people like this. I think some people think
Do
it's
more of
kind of
this. I think this
scary,
is
but I
gonna
think it's
help
fun.
get the word out.
Yeah,
It is fun, yeah.
hmm it's really fun.
Okay, Sarah, Tink, thank you for
Thank you.
joining me and for being here.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
Okay.
And I'm going to see you in real life.
Yes, yes. Soon. Okay,
Yeah.
bye.
Bye.